What is going on, guys? Panther here, bringing you our APA Showdown Season 7 Week 4 match against our very own brother, Zebo, and the Greensboro Garchomps. So Zebo hasn't been in the league completely in the league since Season 4. He is my younger brother, but he is an excellent battler, and he has proven that throughout his career, being the #1 team in Season 1. And a very solid team his other seasons in Season 2 and 3. So this game will definitely be a tough one for us for a number of reasons. Yveltal matches up really well against my team outside of the Sylveon, and then Mega Lope Bunny is just a threat for any team, along with Victini. This man has Lope Bunny, Victini, the Yveltal, and a really good defensive core with the Amoonguss and the Vaporeon as well. So it's going to be a tough matchup. Knew that from the get-go. Definitely did not expect the team that he brought. Definitely could see the Cryogonal, since I do have the Landorus. Freeze Dry, spam matches up really well. I do have my Tyrantrum. I do have my Zapdos and my Jellicent, all of which he can hit super effectively. So I now have to kind of play around that thing. Amoonguss matches up against my team really, really well, because I don't really have anything that's going to do a ton of damage to it. I don't have a Flying Stab on Zapdos. So I do have to watch out for that. And then Lope Bunny is always a threat. I mean, it's Mega Lope Bunny. So looking at his team here, as you can see, he doesn't have any hazard removal outside the Cryogonal, which does take the 25% of Stealth Rocks every time it comes in. I really thought he would leave with Victini or Lope Bunny here. And I wanted to leave my Landorus to try to get at my rocks as soon as possible, because they do pressure his team. It helps put some necessary chip on some things for my Tyrantrum and my Mega Lucario, because those are my main offensive threats here, along with Spec Sylveon. So I want to get my hazards up. And I really wanted to prioritize that as well. So I do choose to lead my Landorus, and as you can see, that is a bad play as he chooses to lead Cryogonal, making a good read turn 1. So I don't really have a great switch into this. I don't have recovery on Sylveon, so I just go out into Mega Lucario. I don't need help on Mega Lucario. I need opportunities to strike is really what I need. So obviously, against the crit doesn't matter because it is Frost Breath. It will always crit. I fire off a Flash Cannon here just to scout. I knew his incoming switch would most likely be Vaporeon, but I wanted to see if this thing was defensive or specially defensive. How is it going to handle my Lucario? Now, it did seem a little strange to me that he chose to run a Spadef Vaporeon. I don't really get what the Spadef Vaporeon was for. I figured it would be flip-flop, with this thing being physically defensive and the Amoonguss being specially defensive to help deal with the Sylveon. He doesn't really have a good switch into my Sylveon. I really thought the Amoonguss would be the more specially defensive one, and the Vaporeon to handle my Mega Lucario. So fire off the Flash Cannon. As you can see from the damage, he is specially defensive Vaporeon. Don't want to stay in here. He makes a great prediction firing off the Ice Beam here. And already we're getting played here, and it's turn 3. So we're in a hole already. So not looking great for us. Do Roost up knowing he's probably just going to Toxic me. But the important thing was I wanted to keep Zapdos healthy because it was my primary Lope Bunny answer. As said, my Sylveon's not defensive, it's offensive, so is what it is there. Really wish I had like U-turn or Volt Switch on Zapdos here this match, but I do just fire off a Thunderbolt, because again, I knew he'd probably go into Amoonguss, but I wanted to scout. I need to know what these sets are, so I can set up for a sweep late game. So you see him go for the Venoshock there. It's a good tech for the Toxic. I don't want him toxicking my Jellicent, so I do switch back out. Just to scout for that. Jellicent's important to my team, and I don't want any part of that. I can threaten this thing out with a Heat Wave since he is fully defensive. It does about half, depending upon some rolls, and I do have a chance to burn him as well. I knew he was going to probably Synthesis up there, just trying to wear me down, but I do take this opportunity to fire off the Focus Blast because I know I can 2-hit KO this Vaporeon. So unfortunately, do miss. That sucks, but it is what it is there. And he throws off a Wish. So here we go for a Toxic, try to Toxic this thing, and he freezes us. So turn 11 here, and things are just not going our way. I fire off a Scald to force myself to thaw out. I know Vaporeon gets water absorbed, but I do not want my Jellicent frozen any longer. So it was worth it. And I get the Toxic off in the Cryogonal. So, we're unfrozen, so it is what it is there. We just lost a turn of momentum. I know I can eat the Freeze Dry and just recover back up. This thing can't really do much to us, and I can just really sit in here and just stall this thing out a little bit. and get some necessary damage off on it that my Sylveon will need. So is what it is. He goes out into Amoonguss. I really have problems switching into Amoonguss. As you can see, I'm being very risky in switching my Mega Lucario. I was very surprised that he didn't have Spore either. Spore really just shut down somebody on my team. But I know he's not going to Sludge Bomb. I make a double out into the Sylveon, and this is the situation that I want. I want to, because I know I can pop this thing. He can't really do much back. He can Toxic me, but again, I don't care about the Toxic. Sylveon's job is just to really wall break here. I want to get rid of these walls, because if I get rid of these walls, it opens the door for Lucario and Tyrantrum. So he throws off the Wish. I know he's probably going to protect here, but I fire off the Head Smash. Crit did not matter on a Spadef Vaporeon. That did like 75 to 80 something %. So it did not matter. Is what it is. He goes out into the Cryogonal now and fires off the Frost Breath. Sylveon eats, and I can fire off the Psyshock, and he knows I'll probably fire off the Psyshock here because I pick up the kill. And if he wants to go into Amoonguss, I'll also kill that thing. So, able to get rid of 2 Pokemon and go up 6-4, even though I've basically lost my Sylveon at this point in the match. So, is what it is there. He goes out into Playboy the Lope Bunny, and he is able to pick up a solid kill here on me. So that's 1 kill for Lope Bunny in this match. Go out into the Zapdos because I know I threatened out, and I fire off what I believe is a Heat Wave. I fire off the Heat Wave just because all I need is damage on the Lope Bunny for Vacuum Wave to clean it up. I only needed like 25, 30%, something like that, maybe even less, 20, 15. I forget the calc off the top of my head. But I know he is again going to just try to stall out my Zapdos here. So missed the Head Smash, unfortunately. That would have done about 55, 63%. So I would have been able to 2-hit KO this thing or force it out there. So unfortunately, I do miss though. So we haven't had the best of luck this far, but I haven't been too game altering or anything like that. Now, here's a very pivotal moment in the match. So it's a roll to knock this thing out again with Flash Cannon. But if I do not knock this thing out, I do not lose my Lucario, but it puts it in range for a Mega Lope Bunny Quick Attack or Fake Out, and that's important to keep in mind here. So I know I can't let Lucario get any weaker, so I'm forced to switch out here. Absolutely forced. I know he's most likely going to Giga Drain, but that is what it is. Or Synthesis Up, not a big deal. I know he knows he has to keep this thing healthy, but he can stay in and just Synthesis Up. But I do get a burn here, which is really big. So he Venishocks here, and this is big right here too. So a Heat Wave here, this thing is dead, and I've basically won the game at this point. So I know no way he's going to stay in here. He's going to switch out. He's going to make the smart play. He's going to switch out, get his Regenerator, and because he has a switch here. He has a Carbink that does basically nothing this match. On his team. So I know I can knock him out with the next Heat Wave. It's going to kill him. So I double out, predicting the Carbink to come in just for him to sack it off, and he Synthesis up. And I think that was a bit of a misplay there. He very well may have predicted for me to double, but that's very, very risky on his part because Amoonguss is definitely his win con at this point. It wouldn't have been a big deal just to sack the Carbink there and ensure that Amoonguss stays alive. So, but he takes a chance. The risk pays off for him, and he's able to get back to full. And I'm kind of left with my pants down, so to speak. So got a U-turn out. No, he's probably going to Toxic or Giga Drain me. Go back out into Zapdos, and I really am just fishing for damage on this thing at this point. I've got to get damage on this thing. And boom! There's the damage. So huge crit there. I was basically kind of screwed against the Amoonguss unless he misplayed and didn't Synthesis. I would have had to have either A, started out of Synthesis somehow and played around his Regenerator, but that was huge right there, that crit. So I'm not even going to lie about that. That was huge. But this game is far from over. So I know that Victini's most likely going to be Scarf just to help him deal with my Mega Lucario. It is what it is there. So he has Scarf. I know I can threaten it out, and I know he doesn't have a Scald Twitching anymore because Mega Lope Bunny is going to risk being burned here. So fire off the Scald, do some good damage to it. Do not get the burn, but that is the damage that I need for my Mega Lucario. So fire off another Scald here, just weaken this thing. Jellicin's done his job at this point. I'm happy to let it go down to the high jump kick. So now I'm free to go out into my Mega Lucario because I do threaten it out. I'm not going to play any games here. I'm just going to fire off the Vacuum Wave. So this is really important here. I could Flash Cannon. He knows I'm going to Flash Cannon. So if he goes into Victini, I basically lose at this point. I think Glaciate did kill me from the range I was at, and it basically swept my team. from this point. So I have to make a play here. I'm forced to make a play. So I know he's going to go Victini on the Flash Cannon. So I go out into my Landorus. Now, he's got Glaciate, so you may be asking yourself, why'd you go out into your Landorus? Well, because I'm Yachi Berry, and I can eat this hit for days. And I know I wasn't going to knock it out, because Victini's just naturally bulky. I'm fully defensive. I don't have any attack investment. I don't believe I did anyways. But I know I can put it in range for a Vacuum Wave, which is what I wanted to do. So he's in range for the Vacuum Wave. I need Landorus, though, still, because Landorus can help me knock out the Carbink. Tyrantrum is basically useless at this point, so I just sack my Tyrantrum off. But we still have to play around Fake Out, unfortunately. We have to play around his Fake Out mons. So I bring in my Mega Lucario. I am forced to Vacuum Wave here. No choice but to Vacuum Wave. But he cannot switch anything in on my Flash Cannon on the following turn. So I fire off the Flash Cannon and pick up the kill on Carbink. So very important there. So he can't go out into Victini because I Vacuum Wave and kill this thing. He's got to go out into Lope Bunny. And he can make one of two plays here. So basically this is a 50-50 right here. If he doubles out into Victini, right here, I'll lose my Landorus. Well, no, basically at this point, the only way he won at this point was with a fake out crit. But it's not over, so that very well may happen. So I go out into my Landorus on the fake out, of course, get the Intimidate off on it, which doesn't matter at this point. He's able to knock out my Landorus with Ice Punch, so good tech. But now I'm able to go out into my Lucario, and basically it comes down to 2 Vacuum Waves versus a fake out. So go for the Vacuum Wave. Obviously, that's going to be enough to knock out the Victini and Mega Lucario. So knock out the Victini, and it comes down to this play. Will Fake Out crit me and kill me? I've left myself at enough HP early in the battle to live that Fake Out or to live that Quick Attack. It did max 14 to 17% if he was Adamant, and then 13 to 16 if he was Jolly. Didn't know his spread or anything like that. Didn't know his nature. But again, this is what it comes down to. So 20% here. Playboy goes with the Fake Out. Kenobi tanks. That's it. That's good game there. So Kenobi does live. He does not get the crit. Very hacksy battle on both ends there. So I hate that came down to this, but don't let this fool you. Zebo's 2-2 this season. He is a phenomenal battler, as you can see by the way he played there. With the Carbink on his team too. I mean, if that Mon was his Yveltal, or maybe his Gliscor, this probably would have been a different story. So the Carbink there was questionable for sure, trying to stunt, I guess, on me, but it is what it is. Lucario ends up coming through in the clutch there at the end. So Zebo, like I said, Zebo's 2-2 now. He has lost 1-0 against both me and Jock, which are both 4-0 at this point. So his only losses are against the top 2 teams in the league right now currently. So definitely nothing to hang your head about, Zebo. Very good game from you. Very well played from you. So definitely really good showing on your side. But again, Mega Lucario just coming through in the clutch there at the end. And, just really was happy with the way we were able to think 20 turns ahead in the battle to know that I need to leave my Lucario in range where I can take at least one fake out so I can try to clean this game up at the end with Mega Lucario, because as you saw at the start of the game was just not going my way. Zebo really controlled the game at the beginning. We did have some unfortunate misses there with the Focus Blast, and the Head Smash miss was pretty huge. And then that prediction on Moon was pretty huge. It would have changed the outcome of the game if I would have gotten either one of those right or hit either one of those. But the huge crit with Zapdos is obviously the biggest play of the game. Zapdos, actually, that's 2 weeks in a row Zapdos has come through in the clutch for us like that. Because against Tom, after he crit our +3/+1 Mega Lucario, Zapdos actually came back to static para the Rampardos for Landers to clean up. So Zapdos MVP so far, guys. For sure. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Next week we play Kyle and the Montreal 2 Canadians. So looking forward to that match. Not looking forward to playing Magirna. But stay tuned next week, guys. Again, thank you all for watching, and be sure to leave a like and comment down below.